The blast hit at 10:04 a.m. Sharp. Windows shattered. The ground split wide open. Flames leapt sky high and swallowed 3 houses in a matter of seconds. And you want to know the kicker? They called it a gas leak like it was just some freak act of God, when really, I'd been warning those people for weeks. That's the part that gets me, because the truth is the HOA pretty much buried their own bomb under our street, and I was the only fool waving a red flag nobody wanted to see. You ever notice how disaster doesn't always kick down the door? Sometimes it seeps in real slow. Just a smell at first, nothing rotten, not even bad, just strong. Like metal baking in the sun after rain, something sharp and sour curling in the air, and for whatever reason, it always hits strongest by my driveway, right before sunrise. Most folks, they'd shrug and figure it's just one of those things, maybe a neighbor's trash can, maybe the lawn service using weird chemicals. But not me, not after what happened to my wife. See, I spent 30 years as a municipal engineer, and I know the smell of danger when it comes whispering. So, I did what I always do. Brought it up at the monthly HOA meeting, sitting there under those buzzing, half-broken fluorescent lights, sipping on what might have been the worst lemonade I've ever tasted. "There's a gas smell near Lot 23, I said. "It's faint, but it's there." For half a second, the room went still. You could almost hear everybody's heartbeat. Then Jason Landry, our HOA president, just kind of snorted. "If there was a leak, Tom, we'd know," he said, smoothing his golf shirt like he was waiting for someone to laugh at his joke. "That's exactly what scares me," I told him, and he just leaned forward, squinting at me. "You accusing the HOA of something?" Jason said, eyebrows all bunched up. "I'm saying something's wrong," I replied, probably louder than I meant to. "And if it's gas, it's not something you just ignore." When I left that meeting, I got what I expected, a warning letter for disrupting HOA proceedings. That's the Maple Brook Estates way. Question authority, they drown you in paperwork, make you wish you'd just kept your mouth shut. But the smell wouldn't let me go. Check the crawl space, check the yard, nothing. It was coming from a sidewalk, the part the HOA maintained. And there were lines in the dirt, straight and suspicious, like someone had been trenching in the dark. That's when I set up a trail cam, tucked behind my hedge. 3 nights later, I caught them, 2 unmarked trucks, no lights, no safety cones, just guys in reflective vests, working under headlamps at 2 a.m. An hour later, they left, and you wouldn't even know they'd been there. Grass seed sprinkled, dirt smooth, not a clue unless you looked real close. I uploaded the footage, sent it to the HOA, asked for an explanation. But the next morning, instead of an answer, I found a plain white note stuffed in my fence. "Mind your business or else." 6 words, thick black marker, and you'd better believe I read it twice before I burned it. See, fire doesn't scare me like it does most people, because I've already survived it. 10 years ago, a faulty gas line killed my wife, Meredith. She was just helping a friend paint a nursery when it happened. Spark from a light switch, instant ignition. The silence afterward. Let me tell you, that silence changes a person. So no, I wasn't about to back off. Next HOA meeting, Jason's up there all grins, clipboard in hand, talking about some exciting new energy efficiency project. Calls it green infrastructure preparation. I call it reckless. "We're future-proofing for natural gas upgrades," he says. "Nothing invasive." I stand up. "Did you file excavation permits with the city?" Jason's smile gets wider, like he's proud of how slick he thinks he is. "We're staying within HOA jurisdiction," he says. "You'll get a letter if your property's affected." That's a lie. Gas doesn't care about property lines. Never has, never will. Caught him after the meeting. Told him, "You know it's illegal to dig without notifying the city, right? Even prep work needs clearance." He didn't even look at me. Just muttered, "You're retired, Tom. Maybe it's time you stopped worrying about things that aren't your concern." That's when I pulled up the still from my trail cam. Showed him the trenching, the trucks, the works. Then explain this, I said. His jaw twitched. You shouldn't be filming board activities without consent, he told me. Board activities? I shot back. So you're admitting the board authorized it? He stepped closer, real quiet. You keep pushing this, you'll regret it. And just walked away. That night, I sat down with the HOA bylaws, front to back, every last section. There it was, section 14.7, plain as day. No structural or subterranean modifications to common property without city approval. They'd broken their own rules. Called some friends at City Hall. No permits for gas lines, not in the last 6 months. I sent them everything I had. Someone's bypassing the city. That's not just illegal, it's dangerous, one clerk told me. 2 days later, my mailbox was plastered with HOA violations. Fence too high, trash cans visible, unauthorized surveillance. Even accused me of verbal aggression toward board members. Would have been funny if it wasn't so desperate. I started to doubt myself. Maybe I really was just a crank. Maybe the smell was in my head. Then my daughter Claire found me at the table, staring at the pile of letters. You're not crazy, she said. You're scared because you've seen this before. She was right. I wasn't crazy. I was experienced. So I doubled down. Logged every detail, the smell, the sounds, the shovel marks. One night, I caught them again, trenching 20 feet from a gas meter, no permits, no helmets. I stepped out, recording. You can't film us, one guy shouted. You're on public land, I told him, and you're endangering lives. He lunged for my phone, and before I could move, Claire came running, barefoot, yelling, touch him again, and I'll press charges. They backed off, peeled away in their van, gravel spraying everywhere. That was the night I called Rick Mendoza, old friend, municipal attorney. Sent him everything. Tom, he said, if they're digging near utilities without permits, that's felony negligence. But if you go public, they'll come after you. I laughed, told them they already had. We filed for an emergency injunction. City inspector was supposed to show in 2 days, but never came. Called the clerk. She whispered it was canceled. Someone from a city council pulled it. You didn't hear that from me. That's when I knew. This went deeper than just the HOA. That night, I crouched by the curb with a lighter, not to set anything off, just to check the airflow. The flame flickered sideways, gas for sure. It's building pressure, I whispered to myself. By the end of the week, the whole neighborhood smelled it. One neighbor's dog refused to walk by the sidewalk. Another's carbon monoxide detector tripped, and their house was all electric. But when I asked them to speak up, they backed out. We saw what they did to you, one said. I've got kids, man. I almost gave up then, almost. But silence was what killed Meredith. So I wrote one last letter, certified mail, every board member. Outlined every violation, every threat, every law they broke. Walked one over to Jason's porch myself. He came out waving it. You think legal threats scare us, Tom? You're not a city inspector. You're just a bored old man. I didn't answer. Just walked away. 2 nights later, metallic clang of tools, hiss of compressed air. I crept up and saw them, installing steel gas conduits. Not plastic, not insulated, no testing. Sparks flying from a hammer, hitting metal. My stomach dropped. They were turning our street into a bomb. I texted Rick. They're laying steel gas lines. No permits. He texted back instantly. Criminal. Get clear. I'm contacting the fire marshal. By morning, the Department of Energy Safety was on it. Promised to inspect in 24 hours. But 24 hours was too long. Next morning, HOA flyers were everywhere. Community gas upgrade phase 2, authorized under Resolution 42B. Except Resolution 42B didn't exist. They'd forged it. That night, the smell was stronger than ever, hanging over the street like a dare. And at 10:04 a.m., the next day, the ground roared. The first blast threw me from my chair. Windows blew inward, Glass everywhere, Claire screaming. Second explosion, even closer. We ran outside. Street split wide open, smoke pouring from a crater, flames shooting up 2 stories. 3 houses gone. Sirens, chaos. I saw Jason standing near the blast zone, barefoot, in his bathrobe, hair half singed, eyes hollow. "You knew," I said. He didn't deny it. Didn't say a word. Fire crews showed up. I handed them everything, flash drive, photos, videos, letters. "This was reported weeks ago," I told the captain. He muttered a curse and radioed his team. By evening, the news vans were camped out. Gas explosion, level street. HOA under investigation. Investigators confirmed it. Unauthorized steel piping, pressurized without testing, intersected live electrical conduits. Spark, then fire. All preventable. Resolution 42B. A fake. Signatures forged. The HOA treasurer fled town. Jason Landry was arrested at dawn. Falsifying documents, endangering public safety, misuse of funds. As they cuffed him, Jason tried to hide his face from the cameras. I just stood there. No relief, no sense of victory, just exhaustion. A few days later, they asked me to speak at the city council. Didn't prepare a speech. I just told them the truth. When authority ignores safety, I said, disaster isn't a matter of if, it's when. The HOA was dissolved within a week. The company they hired? Fined millions, banned from the state. Neighbors who used to avoid me stopped to say thanks, but I didn't feel like a hero, just tired. But I'll tell you what, when I saw city crews digging up those last lengths of illegal pipe, I finally breathed without that nagging chemical taste in the back of my throat. The street was cracked, ugly maybe, but honest, and maybe that's the lesson. You can bury the truth for a while, but sooner or later, it finds a way to rise. So let me ask you, what would you have done? Do you speak up when you see danger, even when nobody listens? Or do you keep your head down and hope someone else will step up? Drop your thoughts down below. Tell me if you've ever fought City Hall or stood up to an HOA. And if you care about justice and safety, share this story. Somebody's always watching, but maybe, just maybe, someone out there will listen.